Oh, hello everyone, and good evening on this Friday night. It's the 17th of April. Wow. So, anyway, kids are looking forward to getting out of school soon, and man, summer's just around the corner. So, hopefully, the weather hasn't affected you. I know we've had some like tornadoes around and high winds, and of course, allergies are right there. Allergies. So, anyway, tonight we're taking like a break in between our Bible summaries, and we're starting going to start with uh, Mark next, chapter by chapter summary. So I hope you tune in and please subscribe to the channel here at lsfl, the number four letter U, and subscribe. So tonight, finally, I got back to a music topic. All right, excited. Been wanting to do one for a while now. Wow. So anyway, uh, I looked up a couple sites, to compare, and they usually always are the same. So anyway, tonight we are going to talk about the greatest debut albums of all time. Right on. So I need to make sure um, I'm on here. So I'm not messing anything up. So yeah, going to be talking about the greatest debut albums of all time. And please comment or send in ones that you think are, you know, yours, you know. So check. Hello. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, comment. If there's an album not on this list, um, you know, share it. All right, just share it. So this is in no particular order or anything like that. So I don't have anything else like a little break here in between. All right. So these are on the list that I looked up the greatest debut albums of all time. We will start with Van Halen's first album in 1978. Boy, do I remember when that came out. So, first first to last songs. One, Running with the Devil. What can you say? What a way to start out an album. Dum, 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 dum. It just takes off from there. It just it just takes off from there. And then two is the solo eruption, which started a whole new guitar phase. And I, there's so much debate on whether Eddie Van Halen came up with the plucking, um, that others were doing it before him. I don't know. So the third one is the Kinks. You really got me. And for a band to take a classic, probably influenced by, and doing that is just nuts. Um, Man, and just takes it to a different sound, a different. texture, a different, you know, it was just bombardment. This album ain't talking about love. This is like these are like can be literally considered greatest hit albums. You know, they really could. I mean, there's so many great songs. I mean, on these albums, it's not even, you know. And then I'm the one. Even their not so known ones are great. It's a little pick me. I'm the one you love. Come on, baby, show your love. It's just the flow of these songs is just uncanny. The order of these songs, I think. And then you get down to Jamie's Crying, which is a slower tempoed, you know, um, 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 Jamie, you know, and then it changes. You know, you got kind of like a bridge in there. Great harmonies by Michael Anthony, by the way. He just um, really solidified the sound vocally and how good their harmonies were. If you really break it down and really and listen to the harmonies on these songs, they're fantastic. You know. Then you have Atomic Punk, another upbeat rocker that just all these songs. It's nuts. You know, to come out with an album this good, you know, and some will argue this is probably their best album by far, by far. And there will always be debate because everybody has their opinion, which is that's what we have these for, right? So to me, this is flawless. All of these are flawless from the first song to the last, and they have this. And Alex Van Halen's drums are just um, is a sound that I've sought after in my kit, especially the snare, because he definitely sounds like he plays a flat snare in a rim shot, the rim. And I have been trying to duplicate that same sound for as long as I've started playing. And when I first heard his drums and the snare, I thought, okay, that's the sound I want to go for. That's what I'm trying to go for right now. That real tight, solid man. It just pops, you know, just pops. And the last song is "Feel Your Love Tonight." And what a way to end an album. So there's really not a bad song on this album. There's not a bad song. It's sad how, you know, it worked out in the 80s for them, but, you know, like the Beatles and great bands, there's only so much, you know, and then like Kiss, which a lot of people debate whether they went on way too long, too many changes, and you got to try to keep up. I understand, and for bands, especially in the '80s, it was rough. I mean, so many bands like Van Halen with keyboards. Who would have ever thought you would ever hear keyboards in a Van Halen song? Ever. Period. Who would have thought? From what I understand, David Lee Roth was against it. Like, no, let's keep the formula. You're a guitar player. Let's not mess with keyboards and all this other stuff. Let's not mess with it. But, reluctantly, they put the album out, and shortly after, that was pretty much it. And I was fortunate enough to see them in the original lineup with David Lee Roth at the old arena here in St. Louis, the Barn, for fair warning. It was probably one of the best shows I have ever seen. It was just nonstop. They were definitely um, during their peak, I think. You know, so I think Fair Warning was like their third or fourth album. Fair Warning and maybe Diver Down was the album after that. But whatever their album um, catalog is in the order they came out. But man, that just was a show to behold at the time. And they brought it. The musicianship, and I think a lot of people take the band not as much as Eddie Van Halen, but the other two with Michael Anthony and Alex Van Halen. It was, you talk about a rhythm section. You know, it was tight, very tight rhythm section. So if you go back and like me, who listens to the instruments more than the lyrics. I'm not a lyric person. I listen and pick out each instrument. Wow, I know. As I'll listen to a tune, I'll pick up the drums right away, what they're doing. Then I'll listen to it again, pick up the bass and tune in and focus on what the bass is doing, and of course the guitar. Which when you have, I don't know if I've talked about it before, but when you have a tight, great rhythm section, those are the greatest bands ever with a tight rhythm section. Without a rhythm section, I just think you're mediocre. You're not in the not mediocre, but you're not in the next level of great. All right, where I would say great and then fantastic on a scale. I don't know, but without a rhythm section that tight, and you go back and listen to albums like this, the rhythm section, pocket, tight, in the pocket, steady, just like a machine, you know, literally. So let's see the next album. This one is going to work. Is Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction, 1987. All right. Yeah. No, what's going on with this thing? Sorry, folks. All right. I this was formed by two groups, L.A. Guns and Hollywood Roses, and I don't know. I don't remember which band members was from which band. Sorry. but there's 12 tracks, okay? And I don't know, I just don't know what it was about um, 12 tracks on this album. Well, right? Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, here we go. Okay, anyway, um, major hits, yes. I don't know if it was Rose's vocals I was never crazy about with what they were doing. I just don't know um, what it was. It just didn't. I don't know. I don't know. The music itself is just a hard driving, great album. Yes. So it starts off with, of course, "Welcome to the Jungle." All right. So easy. "Night Train," "Out to Get Me," "Mr. Brownstone," which is a, I guess he was talking about a heroin addiction, uh, just heroin in just general, because you know, drummer, what Steven Adler, um, shot up heroin quite a bit, and I heard he would do it. People, so not to have tracks on their arms, they would shoot up anywhere from between their toes, fingers, just anywhere where tracks wouldn't show up on their arms, or that's visible. Where people would shoot up. You know. Then of course you got Paradise City, My Michelle, Think About You, Sweet Child of Mine, You're Crazy, Anything Goes, and Rocket. It's been forever since I've listened to this in its entirety. Um, but you got what? Welcome to the Jungle. It's so easy. Paradise City, Sweet Child of Mine. Um, hits, hits, and it does reflect some personal experiences, like Mr. Brownstone with the heroin addiction. So, um, yeah. So that is that, right? So great album, yeah. But I just so number 3 in our list was Rage Against the Machine. Rage Against the Machine in 1992. The only time I seen Rage Against the Machine was um, they did at the Woodstock set. Um, the Woodstock set. They did what, 99 or whatever. Um, they played it. They played Woodstock. And this is Chuck loaded. Okay, so of course you got. Um, let's see, sure. All right. So anyway, the big one, I guess, for me is "Killing in the Name." I guess it was a very political, social band that spoke out. You know, No, I don't like. Here, let me change this. Okay, sorry about that. The song is on there, but um, okay. So the first track, I honestly I've never heard this album in its entirety full either. For some reason, I don't know. Um, Other than you know, "Killing in the Name," it's really the only song I've heard off this. You know, so I apologize, but maybe in a future broadcast, maybe we can play snippets of these songs sometime as a follow up. So you got Bomb Track, Killing in the Name, Take the Power Back, Settle for Nothing, Bullet in the Head, Know Your Enemy, Wake Up, Fistful of Steel, Township Rebellion, and Freedom. So here we are, been a long week. So yeah, and I don't want to ruin it because I want to do this live. I don't want to just go through and listen to the snippets of the song as I go here because you know it's going to be another broadcast. But we'll get the list down, and we'll do a follow up and listen to and there's the you know, copyrights and stuff that you know um, this is educational purposes. Period. Boston is the next one. 1976. How just this is like another. I think this and probably Van Halen's. Um, this is definitely like a greatest hits. You got it, man. You nailed it on the first try. There's, but Boston was a band that was so um, ahead of its time that their both albums were just incredible. The first two, and actually all of them, because the other one came out in the '80s. The last that I heard, but anyway, just to be able to write and the vocals of Brad Delp, off the chain. So anyway, you got More Than a Feeling, bam. I mean, Peace of Mind, Foreplay, Long Time, Rock and Roll Band, Smokin', Hitch a Ride, Something About You, Let Me Take You Home Tonight. Flawless. Flawless album. Incredible. Just, you know, and if you think about it, they probably could have just um, taken this and, you know, like they could have taken these songs and spread them out for other albums, you know, but they put all these songs on one album. Next, we have Black Sabbath, Black Sabbath. Another album I honestly don't really remember ever really it's been it's really been it's forever since I've let me type this in. I'll find the right one. All right, man. I honestly haven't heard this in forever. Like I said, maybe this is definitely going to be another broadcast. We'll actually play tidbits, of the songs and kind of get back to, oh yeah. But anyway, the first song off the album is is Black Sabbath. So, and they say, a lot of that Black Sabbath invented metal or heavy, and I'm not so sure. And I hate to say it, and you're gonna. That's what I love about this because it's just an opinion. So, but mine is, I think the Beatles with Helter Skelter and Revolution, with the real heavy guitar, and even maybe before that, you know, you had the Kinks, and a lot of the bands were, try getting this heavy, crunchier sound and stuff. So I think by the time Black Sabbath came, what 1970, it's like a band will take it to another level, and that's what they did. As far as you know, just great, great, great. Man, they just, you know, heavy, you know. Um, but yeah, their influences, I believe, um, were from older bands also, that they were influenced by. And like I said, I think they just took it to another level. And just, I think, this is what the metal that we have today was here, basically. Yeah. So anyway, let's see. Then you have the Wizard, kind of a blues bass, kind of a bluesy type guitar. Kind of like blues hard rock blues. Wasp. This is from a jam session. So behind the wall of sleep. And that's taken from H.P. Lovecraft's science fiction short story Beyond the Wall of Sleep. And this is basically, and there's solo in it. Use the wah wah pedal. Yeah. NIB. And this was Ozzy's description of Ward's pointed beard, which resembled, he said, a pen nib. So this is called Wicked World. And a bit of finger. Sleeping Village. Warning and warning. So yeah, this is gonna be another broadcast, that's for sure. And finally, the Beatles. Please Please Me, 1963. All right, this is Please Please Me. I saw her standing there. Hit. Misery. Anna, go to him. Chains. Boys. Ask me why. Please please me. And love me do. That was, you know, the British invasion. Finally, you know, the British invasion. Let's check this one out. Let's see. Am I tuned on now? Let me just say, um, let me try this. See what this one is. It's possibly called one of the greatest albums of all time, which can be, you know, debatable too, because of course we have Sergeant Pepper. Okay, that seems like the go-to. That seems like the go-to Beatles album, but you know, I'm more of a Revolver um, fan of maybe their best. I that's the beauty of it. So anyway, I saw her standing there, Misery, Please please me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hannah, go to him. Chains boys, ask me why. Please please me. Love you. All right. So then we have Pearl Jam 10, 1991. All right. Let's do this. Track this. All right. Now we have Pearl Jam 10, which, man, love. Really loved this album. And in the 90s, of course, you know, grunge. You got, Soundgarden, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, you know, this grunge in the 90s came out. And I remember being in California at the time when I was living there, is when Nirvana um, first album came out. The radio station would literally play the whole album. It would just play the whole album, and that's kind of like surprising to me because I'm not used to that. Here, St. Louis, all they want to do is shove radio friendly stuff down your throat that off albums. You know, they were playing the whole album there. You know, so anyway, you got Once, Even Flow, Alive, Why Go, Black, favorite of mine, Jeremy, Oceans, Porch, Garden, Deep, and Release. Great album. Yes, great album. I can't wait to even use another really good these tidbits. And we got The Doors, The Doors, 1967. Sorry, I'm not prepared for this. I didn't get like a list or pre-type this up or anything. Sorry. All right. Not a real huge Doors fan. You know, I, I guess, um, I guess you could take some of their stuff and leave it for me. You know, you can kind of take it or leave it. Some of their stuff, songs. I was able to see when I was in California. I won Beach Boy tickets there, and Robbie Krieger, the guitar player, um, opened up for him. You know, and and he had the singer, of course, that sounded just like Jim Morrison, and it just didn't do anything for me. I guess this is a kind of a band that you know the artsy part was, either you like it or don't. I mean, it's like anything, but you definitely had their moments. Absolutely, you know, they had their moments. You know, um, they had their moments. So break on through. Soul Kitchen, The Crystal Ship, 20th Century Fox, Alabama Song, Light My Fire, Backdoor Man, I Looked at You, End of the Night, Take It As It Comes, and The End. So, yeah. Um, take it, that's just personal preference, yeah, but, you know, not a big Doors fan. And this is the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Are you experienced? Oh man, this changed. I would say this definitely changed the game. Absolutely. Um, this changed the game. Let's see. Let's see. What do we got? Okay, 1967. Are you experienced? Foxy Lady, Manic Depression, Red House, Can You See Me? Love or Confusion, I Don't Live Today, May This Be Love, Fire, Third Stone from the Sun, Remember, and Are You Experienced? I was, when I heard this, yeah, I became experienced. Right. How can you, this is like hitting it the first time, like Boston and all these albums are like, they might as well just be greatest hits albums, you know? So then you got Weezer, the Blue Album, 1994, which I really um, like Weezer. I really, um, but see, it's not like I really, um, after the Blue Album, I kind of really lost though. But as far as that album though, is what I'm saying is, um, it's just a great album. I mean, like I said, this is just even the tracks that you're not familiar with from the radio are really good songs. My Name is Jonas. It just kind of jumps. It just jumps at you. You are so, you don't know what to expect until when you hear it, and then you're like, "What the hell? What is this?" And it's like, "Wait a minute, I gotta start that over again." Man, I gotta start this over again. Then you have no one else. The World Has Turned and Left Me Here, Buddy Holly, Undone the Sweater Song, Surf Wax America, Say It Isn't So, In the Garage, Holiday, Only in Dreams. I haven't heard this album in its entirety in a long time either. So it's going to be, I'm excited about doing the follow up to this, that's for sure. The Clash, The Clash, 1977. Man, see, and I think in the 80s, um, because it was more really political than um, in the 70s. Um, it was a bad time in England in the 70s, actually. Um, it wasn't great, apparently. And, yeah, um, having a hard time there in the 70s. So I've got, let's see what I got here. Need to go back. Just jumping around. So anyway, Janie Jones, Remote Control, I'm So Bad with the USA, or Bored, sorry, White Riot, Hate Noir, What's My Name, Denny, London's Burning, Career Opportunities, Cheap, Protex Blue, Police and Thieves, 48 Hours, and Garageland. And that's the UK track list when it came out in the UK. So let's see. Yeah, pretty much same list. Okay, so yeah, this is another album I really never, dove into at the time. So this is gonna be interesting. You know, so we get the setup for um, do it. Joy Division, Unknown Pleasures, 1979. Joy Division, Unknown Pleasures. Another band I just never um, all right. Unknown Pleasure, sorry. 1979. This is Disorder, Day of the Lords, Candidate, Insight, New Dawn Fades, She's Lost Control, Shadow Play, Wilderness, Interzone, I Remember Nothing. Yeah. So yeah, I know these bands definitely, but hearing or remember ever hearing, it's been so long. So this is like I said, I can't wait to do the follow up to this. And this is The Strokes. Is this it? 2001. So anyway, um, this apparently is just another, just a classic, just a classic album that just. So is this it? The Modern Age, Soma, Barely Legal, Someday, Alone Together, Last Night, and Hard to Explain. So yeah, that's going to be something, um, you know. And this is Patti Smith, Horses, 1975. Let's see what this is. Let's see. November 10th, 1975. All right, Gloria and Explicis Dio Lo. Oh, Van Morrison wrote this with her. Huh. Redondo Beach, Birdland, Free Money, Kimberly, Break It Up, Land, Horses, Land of a Thousand Dances, Al- Aligi, Aligi, and she does a cover of My Generation by The Who on this. Okay. The Velvet Underground, The Velvet Underground, and Nico, 1967. This is another. This is another one. I'm just not. Um, been forever hearing any of this. You know, and this was supposed to be just a great breakthrough. But Sunday morning, I'm waiting for the man. Femme Fatale, Venus in Furs, Run, 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 All Tomorrow's Parties, Heroin, There She Goes Again, I'll Be Your Mirror, the Black Angels' Death Song, and European Sun is on this album. So the Smiths, Morrissey, the Smiths, 1984. Okay, I was someone had a Smiths shirt at work on, and I said, well, you like Morrissey with the Smiths or his solo stuff? For me, the Smiths. When, when, when Morrissey, before he went on solo. Sorry, but yeah, all right, this is Real Around the Fountain. You've got Everything Now. Miserable Lie. Pretty Girls Make Graves. The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Still Ill. Hand in Glove. What Difference Does It Make? I Don't Owe You Anything. And Suffer Little Children on that album. Then we have the Cars 1978. Man, I went back and I did hear this recently, and the Cars even were quoted. I don't know if it was Rick Ocasek or one of them that says they joked about this as, oh, the greatest hits album. you know, that's how good this album was. That they even joked about it. You know, um, yeah, like Boston, like Van Halen. You know, um, seriously, this is like um, a greatest hit. No wonder they joked about it. There is not this whole from start to finish period. Don't you stop. I'm in touch with your world just when I need it. Good times roll, moving in stereo. You're all I've got tonight. Bye bye love. Yeah, yeah. You can joke about it, and it's like this is like the greatest hits album on its own. You know, um, nuts. That come up in 1979, which I think the Cars um, were I think definitely influenced the 80s since it was 79. I know, okay, 79, 80s, but this album I think really defined the 80s on every gender from rock, new wave. They did it all on this. They did it all, and I think this definitely uh, set the tone for the 80s. That's for sure. Same year as Van Halen's album came out, of course, 1978. So here you had two albums on the spectrum of rock, which Van Halen is the in your face party go. And now you have the Cars, which that with a song list album like that, it just goes from one to another, the keyboards, and it just blended. Everything they were doing with the guitars, they were, combining, what would become the 80s sound on this album, I think, you know. I really do. So now we got Led Zeppelin, Led Zeppelin 1968. And, you know, Led Zeppelin, um, yeah, okay, you're gonna say Led Zeppelin, one of the greats, but they really started out. They were kind of a blues band, and a lot of blues bands in England, and they love American blues, and they so many of the bands there tried to replicate that and play blues, but they couldn't. There's only a few bands that got it, very few, and I think Led Zeppelin was one. I can't think. You know, the Rolling Stones. I think they really tried, but I just don't think they didn't quite get it either. Um, so very few British bands got blues, which a lot of the band just love so much. You know, they're going crazy for it, but just couldn't replicate the states here blues. Um, so anyway, you got good times, bad times. Babe, I'm gonna leave. You shook me. Let's see what else we got. Dazed and confused. Your time is gonna come. Black Mountainside. Communication breakdown. I can't quit you, baby. How many more times? So you got a bluesy, definitely you hear definitely their blues influence. But then you got a tune like Communication Breakdown. Oh Lord, in your face, and then they turn around and do that. You know, um, no wonder, yeah, that these were so great. That it's on this list. So now we got Oasis, definitely, maybe 1994. Um, Not a big fan. You know, he had their moments. You know, uh, you know, but never was really a big fan of Oasis, which is Rock and Roll Star, Shake Maker, Live Forever, Up in the Sky, Columbia, Supersonic, Bring It On Down, Cigarettes, and Alcohol is on this album. You know, Wonderwall Fall or Wonderwall, whatever is something symphony. But those were on, I guess, the follow up. So anyway, um, yeah. Then we have finally the Stone Roses. The Stone Roses, 1989. And I was reading on this. Um, this is like such a great, great album, apparently, that after this, it was like a shame because it's like they couldn't get it together, apparently. Just it just never worked after this, So I want to be adored. She bangs the drums. Elephant Stone. Waterfall. Don't stop. Bye bye bad man. Elizabeth, my dear. Song for my sugar spun sister. Made of stone. Shoot you down. This is the one. Fool's gold. All right. So that is um, apparently the greatest album debuts of all time. Of all time. So, thank you so much for joining me. We're gonna dive into these albums. Um, Another broadcast, definitely. We're gonna dive into them and listen to these songs off these kind of hear little tidbits of them, you know, from each album. So anyway, excuse me, I'm so sorry. But thank you for joining me. Please subscribe to the LSFL number 4 letter U broadcast YouTube channel. And don't forget, I have Slick Tees and Crafts, which I do vinyl and sublimation shirts and hats, and, uh, tumblers, coffee cups, pillows, animal name tags, luggage tags. What else I do? Mouse pads, coasters, aprons, pot holders, earrings. So, I have a Facebook page for that also, which is Slick Tees and Crafts, SLICK-TS and Crafts on Facebook also. So I keep trying to add pictures of the stuff I do as I make it, but man, the time lately, because wrapping up um, the craft fair spring season here, getting ready for fall now. We start getting ready for fall and Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff like that. So be having to be cranking out Christmas stuff and holiday, and got some Father's and Mother's Day stuff. But yeah, just go on Facebook for that. Check it out, Slick Tees and Crafts. And so anyway, yeah, it was great being on, and finally, it was great doing a music topic in between our Bible summaries. We're going to start. Um, we're going to start Mark soon. Do chapter by chapter summaries of the Gospel of Mark. So until then, yeah, this is going to definitely be another part um, broadcast where we're gonna listen to these tunes, a little bit of each one, on why these are such great debut albums, and why these bands sometimes just kind of vanished afterwards. You know, they put out such great albums, and then, like I said, that's it. There's it just falls apart. You know, and like I said, any comments or suggestions on great debut albums that wasn't on this list, send it. We'll give a listen. Also, you know, because there is an honorable mention that I am gonna is Elvis Costello's first album. What was it, This Year's Model? I think was his first album, 1977. I'm surprised it didn't make this list, but it actually, that's why I look up more than one list, because I believe it was on the other list I looked at. I think that was maybe the only difference, really, not much, but I think that was one of the ones that was a little different from each other. So, but yeah, we're going to do that another broadcast, definitely. But thanks so much. God bless, and be safe. And I wanted to get hold of my beautiful cousin in Christ, Vicky, and talk about some of the our identity through Christ, Jesus Christ. But another time. And that's the 6 that I mentioned before each broadcast, the Bible, topic broadcast. So anyway, it's going on 9. I think it's 8:45. So anyway, thank you so much. God bless, and we'll see you soon. All right. So we'll see you. Take care. God bless. See you next time.